Yo, how's it going, my bones? SilverDFanng back with more YouTube reactions. This time around, we got What's with All the Hockey Fan Fiction by Strange Aeons. So, yeah, might be a little dated, but Heated Rivalry blew up for like several months. And one of the communities that really blew up was fanfiction. But here's the funny thing, not exactly what we thought. A lot of the normies thought like, oh, it created a new fanfic. No, this fanfiction has been around so long that Heated Rivalry might have taken a lot of stuff from the community. It is a wormhole, black hole of a community, and we learned a lot. Enjoy. Okay, we got What's with All the Hockey Fan Fiction by Strange Aeons. We've watched a couple of Strange Aeons stuff. She does a lot of like internet terminology, and she does a lot of like history of fan fiction. And if you've been under a boulder for the last 6 months, Heated Rivalry really took over the fan fiction world. And if you don't know what Heated Rivalry is, gay hockey. Yeah, it's gay hockey.
Gay hockey players kissing.
Ooh.
I stand before you today in my best prep cosplay because apparently Heated Rivalry is what you little freaks are into right now.
Okay. I don't know where she found this. This is not a normal jersey. This looks like a Shakespearean... Like, this looks like someone who's really into Shakespearean plays and also bad taste in hockey teams. Come at me, Toronto Maple Leaf fans. You know it's true. You garbage.
In case you're unfamiliar,
Don't ask me what my home team is.
Heated Rivalry, the show, is based on a book series called Game Changers by Rachel Reed. It focuses on the secret romance between two hockey players, the Canadian Shane Hollander and the Russian Ilya Rozanov. And this is not like a slow burn, will they, won't they kind of thing. Like, they hook up instantly, on screen, but within like 15
Why did we look at your titties? Weird.
minutes of the first episode. Then the show takes place over many, many years of them
Oh,
playing
wow.
hockey, secretly hooking up whenever they
Ooh,
wind up in the
interesting.
same cities, despite publicly being rivals. But eventually, maybe they start to catch feelings, but that's insane. How could they ever be together? What will they... I won't spoil the show. There's also a
They've been fucking for years. It's pretty obvious what they'll do. Nothing.
plot about another hockey player falling in love with his local suspiciously jacked and hot barista, the homophobia and the hypermasculinity.
Go to your local barista. They're cute, but they're not going to be athletically cute. They're going to be nerdy or feeder cute.
Masculinity of hockey culture hanging over them and having to keep their relationship a secret. I watched the whole show. I thought it was entertaining, and admittedly not fully my thing, but I was entertained. I found watching something like this become wildly mainstream popular interest.
It blew up.
Oh yeah, it comes up multiple times. I'm just waiting for Bingus, our beautiful son, to be done shitting.
Bingus bungus.
Mr. Poopies, are you done shitting? Good job, son boy. Okay. Oh, neat. Do you want to say anything?
Aw, that is a bingus.
Do you want to say anything to the people? You're so cute. I have found watching something like this become wildly mainstream popular interesting. We rarely see narratives about having to hide gay relationships anymore.
Yeah.
Being a milquetoast conventionally attractive white gay isn't that controversial anymore.
No.
At least in most places in Canada. But Heated Rivalry is still something new. A reminder that men's sports is one of those
she's going to say it.
where sexuality and gender are still heavily policed. And gay hockey players kissing is a delightful alternate reality that feels subversive and powerful.
Okay, so fun fact. When Heated Rivalry blew up, a bunch of athletes finally had the courage to come out because, male sports was one of the few places where it still was scary to come out because, well, a lot of the team owners are homophobic. A lot of the fans are homophobic. And even some of your fellow players are homophobic. It sucks, but it's true. But luckily, a lot of people were able to come out because of this stupid show.
According to Vogue, a real-life hockey player recently credited
Yeah.
the show with inspiring him to come out as
Yeah.
gay, telling Out magazine, "I know many closeted and gay men
Jesse
in the hockey
Cortu.
world that are being hit hard by heated rivalries' success. Never in my life did I think something so positive and loving could come from such a masculine sport." Heated rivalry star Hudson Williams has noted that he and Rachel Reed, who wrote the book series the show is based on, have received messages from a number of professional hockey, football, and basketball players who do not feel they can publicly identify as LGBTQ. The show's popularity is having an actual real-life impact on people, and that's incredible. Hockey has always been tied up with Canada's national identity,
True.
and now our Prime Minister is doing this regardless of
I forget that she's Canadian. I shouldn't be surprised she's Canadian. She's very Canadian coded.
what I personally think about how some of the dialogue in that show is written. I am fully on board with this. I will speak no ill of our national Yowie. But before we go any further, a word from this video's sponsor, Aura.
It's
You ever
new.
heard of these
Let's help out
nefarious
strange
freaks called
Aeons.
data brokers? Well,
Yeah.
they sure have heard of you.
Yeah,
They've
they
got
have.
a profile with your phone number, email address, home address, even stuff as specific as who your relatives are and how often you see them. And they make billions selling that information.
Joke's
to
on
even
you.
more
The
nefarious
answer
freaks
is not
who will sell
often.
you stuff, or scam you, or in extreme cases even steal your identity. And at this point, it's
Not
like
my
almost
identity.
every service you use is collecting
No.
your information. It can feel like the only way to opt out of this is to just throw your phone into the nearest body of water.
But I
for
like
all
my
because
phone.
there are other ways to protect your data.
It's how
Aura
I play
identifies
Uma
data
Musume.
brokers that are selling your information and automatically removes it from their sites every time it pops up somewhere. There are other services which offer that same feature, but the reason I really like Aura is the whole comprehensive bundle of online security features they give you, so you know that all of your bases are covered through one service. Aura includes a secure VPN, an antivirus, password manager. They send you alerts if your personal information is found on the dark web. They offer real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, 24/7 monitoring to keep your identity
Thanks,
secure. You can
Aura.
try Aura for free for 14 days at aura.com/strangeeons.
Okay, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I hate the meta that we live in as a society, where a lot of products are literally invented and exist to counteract another part that we created. It's disgustingly corporate.
In those 2 weeks, Aura will get to work scrubbing your personal information off of these data broker sites and so much more. So thank you so much to Aura for sponsoring this video, and now I return you to your regularly scheduled content.
Hey,
Heat
hockey!
Rivalry is also really interesting to me from a genre perspective, because it feels fanfiction-y.
It
Rachel
is.
Reed has actually
Absolutely
said in
it
an interview
is.
that too fanfiction-y was a critique that she got from an editor in one of her early drafts. Men's Hockey RPF is a huge community. Stories
Wait.
of
Is that real? Oh, wait. I shouldn't be surprised that real people fan fiction is real.
secret romances, the secret gay lives of real hockey players in the NHL number in the tens of thousands on AO3. So is this
Insane.
then the crucible which formed Heated Rivalry? No. Rachel Reed's website explains, one of my inspirations for Heated Rivalry was obviously the extremely entertaining rivalry between Crosby and Ovechkin.
Ah.
Ovechkin. Thank you. Thanks. That would have been the whole video.
Okay, they might bring it up. So for non-hockey people, Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin are two pretty much the modern day goats of hockey. They kind of came at the same time on the scene about a little over a decade ago, and they have pretty much been like the kings since. Like, both of them have broken multiple records. Both of them are seen as like just the best of the best, and honestly, they are. I'm not a fan of either of the teams that they're on, but it's hard to not root for Crosby or Ovechkin. They're just really awesome players and good guys.
Ovechkin, but I was also inspired by other sports rivalries, by other fictional stories, and by my love of the enemies to lovers and forbidden romance tropes. My characters are original, and I work hard on creating them. The characters and the story you love in Heated Rivalry didn't exactly originate in fanfiction, but they are heavily influenced by it. Reed has also said that when she wrote the books, she was consuming a ton of fanfiction, and even, regrettably, She says that she regrets this a lot. She says that she rewrote one of the early drafts from original fiction where it started into Marvel fan fiction so that she could post it on AO3 because she craved the kind of feedback and support that the fan fiction community offers. So it's not quite true to say that Heated Rivalry originated as fan fiction, but it does have a lot of fan fiction influences. Its fan fiction origins are like a weird collage of things. I think it's totally fair to say that we would not have Heated Rivalry without fan fiction. And I think that we can understand a lot more about it by examining the genre of men's hockey RPF. Something that has admittedly confused the absolute shit out of me for as long as I've known about it. The popularity of Heated Rivalry has become
I just learned about it. I'm confused.
Finally, for my own peace of mind, if nothing else, untangle the weird web that is the literary tradition of gay hockey players' secret gay kissing.
Gay hockey players, gay secret kissing.
Hockey players in fan fiction, there's not always a ton for writers to work with. The quote-unquote canon of a hockey player is kind of fluid. It's made up of many things. You've got their performance in the sport, interviews, advertisements, rumors, tabloids. The publicly available version of that person also may or may not reflect their authentic self. You know, the celebrity's actual self is almost completely inaccessible to
what? Entertainers or performers or athletes are not what you see while they're working 100% of the time? What?
Fans. Hockey RPF relies heavily on fanon characterizations. Fanon meaning fan.
Watching this particular streamer talk about Omegaverse is one of the weirder things I think I've watched indirectly on Twitch. This one in particular, because we have watched her video on Omegaverse. And it was eye-opening.
Canon, sort of.
To say the least.
It's not really canon or true. It's something that fans made up, but it's so widely agreed upon that it becomes kind of a norm throughout a lot of fan content, like fan fiction, art, edits, etc. Jeff Carter is the Juliet to Mike Richards' Romeo, but instead of dying at the end...
I didn't know that she streamed. Huh. I only know her for her YouTube videos. Good on you, strange Aeons.
And they win the Stanley Cup. All pairings are possible if you try hard enough. Tyler Seguin is...
Okay, let me try hard enough. Bobby Orr and an actual oar. Bobby Orr just sitting on a fucking oar going right up that coochie. I get what you mean. I love doing reaction content. It is fun. It is trippy streaming, reacting to someone. And by the way, I also put these on YouTube. So later it will be a YouTube video of me reacting to another YouTube video. The concept is trippy.
In a polyamorous relationship with a lot of men, including but not limited to his wife, Tyler Brown, his roommate, Jesse Black, his line mate, Brad Marchand, and some guy whose name I think is Fred. Patrick Kane is a tiny baby boy. All the Russians have sex with each other. The general cause of fighting...
Everyone knows this. Everyone knows. Every Russian, they be fucking every other Russian.
Is someone raging on the dude you're banging on the team. Do not look directly at Jeff Skinner. The dimples are lethal, unless you're Eric Stahl. You don't actually need to know anything about hockey.
Jeff Skinner. Aw. Yeah, he got really nice dimples. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Those are very, very nice dimples. I understand that.
To read hockey RPFs. But by the end of it, you'll know more than all of your hockey fan friends. From what I gather, there is a split in hockey RPF fandom between people who have gotten into it through their love of the sport and people who have gotten into it through their love of fandom. And the latter contingent, people who were fans and fan fiction writers first, make up the largest amount of hockey RPF consumers, writers, etc. The sudden explosion in hockey RPF around the early 2010s is often attributed to the migration of popular fan creators from other fandoms into hockey RPF. Usually people blame band fandoms, like sometimes it's Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, sometimes it's a One Direction.
I will hydrate. Thank you, Stitchy.
Pipeline.
How you doing today?
What we know for sure is that hockey RPF probably existed in really small niches before 2010, but it rose to surprising and confusing levels of popularity soon
Welcome,
after. I think it
Stitchy20.
probably wasn't the...
Are you learning about a new fandom, Stitchy? The world of real person fan fictions, in particular hockey?
fault of migration of fans from
'Cause
just
I am.
one other fandom. Here's my theory, okay? There are tons of memes about how hockey RPF.
Hey boss, sorry I can't come to work today. I read an extremely long fic where the author promised a sequel at the end, but it was a year ago, and now they write hockey RPF. Yeah, thanks. I knew you'd understand. Why is it always hockey RPF? Is this like a part of the fanfiction community where they hate the hockey RPFers because they take away from what they love? I need to ask Gecko. This feels like something Gecko would know.
Seems to pop up everywhere, and you'll be reading some amazing fan fiction. You'll click on the author's profile for more and suddenly find a bunch of hockey RPF. I think I even experienced a variation of this phenomenon while I was researching this video, because there was this excellent paper that I cited when I was researching my Omegaverse video. And the author came up again because she has a paper about hockey.
I think that's what we're going to learn, is why people are so fascinated about making hockey player fan fiction. I don't fully know either, Stitchy.
RPF. Girl, what are you doing at the hockey RPF? Girl, what are you doing at the hockey
Girl.
RPF? Is a very common sentiment in fandom, and apparently fandom studies now. Authors we always are turning out to be at the hockey RPF. What I think is going on here is really just that the ubiquity of sports makes it easy for a lot of people to kind of dabble in it. You know, most people know something about sports, about hockey.
Sport ball.
Click on something like that.
Ball
out of curiosity. And then, regardless of how much they cared about the sport or even knew about the sport beforehand, they get sucked into this world that fan writers have constructed about the secret lives of NHL players. I also think it is not insignificant that fanfiction.net started purging what it considered unsavory content.
I'm doing good. I'm learning why fanfiction writers really like making real person hockey fanfiction. There's a lot.
Thousands to that. I can speak today. I can speak. I'm good at speaking. I'm normal at speaking. I am a regular guy.
Speaking is hard.
You can enter a space. You are a regular guy. You can enter a room. You are a regular guy. You can do that transaction. You are a regular guy. You know how to answer the phone.
Fanfiction.net started purging what they considered unsavory content in the late 2000s, including RPF.
What?
Which is one of the things that led to the establishment of AO3.
What? It's weird making fanfiction about real people fucking other real people? No!
As like a sort of anything goes space in 2009. And what we see over the next few years is AO3 growing and growing in popularity until it eventually overtakes fanfiction.net. And that rise in popularity of AO3
Jacob Wysocki?
with the rise in popularity
He's awesome.
of hockey RPF.
I don't know him that well.
On the table too. I don't think this fandom could have happened without AO3 magically coming along and just being the perfect ecosystem for it.
Thank you. I think that's what we're all curious
about. The most important question that I have had about hockey RPF, okay?
Why?
Why? You're making a point. You're turning this hyper-masculine straight bro thing all queer and romantic, okay? Why bother, though? If you're a sports fan or a hockey RPF fan, okay, don't get offended yet, okay? I'm going to answer the question of why bother. I'm just walking you through the biases that I entered this.
Am I the only one thinking of why this exists? All I imagine is just two random hockey players on skates on the ice, just dry humping each other. Because that's where my brain went.
Process with. Okay, I'm taking you on a journey. Okay? So to me, sports and fandom, I know sports has fandom, but I mean like fanfiction fandom, Tumblr fandom. Those feel like opposing things to me, but that's only because they've been opposing things in my life. As the gay, autistic, chronically ill goth girl, I have felt intensely othered by the world of sports. I was picked last every single time in gym class. Every time, okay?
I'm not shocked.
Forced public humiliation ritual every time we had to play a team sport for years and years of my childhood. So I hate sports. I still hate sports as an adult, because of course I do. It was one of the prime villains of my formative years.
Oh, don't hate sports, hate the player.
That I am kind of a failure at, and its popularity has been a reminder that what society wants from people is pretty much the exact opposite of me. Sports are the method.
Okay, that I understand. We do, without even thinking, do put athletes on a pillar. And I think that's why a lot of theater nerds have a stick up their butt and they try so hard to seem more impressive, because most of their childhood they were told that they are lesser than other athletic kids. Here's the truth. When you become an adult, no one gives a shit.
With which those hierarchies are often taught to children. and I learned them. Whereas Tumblr is my freak space, where I get to look at pictures of Gerard Way covered in intestines, and gifs from Interview with the Vampire with all of the other sick, nasty weirdos of the world, and I don't want to see sports in there. I don't want to see sports in my sick, nasty weirdo safe space. But that's just me. Okay? There are people who still like sports, despite feeling like outsiders to it, and they want to make space for themselves within it.
As an anime fan, I feel this hard because I actually really enjoy sports anime. Outside of Japan, people really hate sports anime. Why? Because a lot of them were this lady. They were the nerds. They were like, sports hate me. Why do I want to watch sports in my anime? Because it's cool, it's action-packed, and it's actually some of the best, like, moments in anime. But the trauma, I get it. Kai, do you have sports trauma?
Despite all of the kind of weird, messy, contradictory emotions there. In their PhD thesis, The Intimate Fandoms of Men's Hockey RPF, Maria-Elise Vist writes, I am both a weird kind of hockey fan and a weird kind of slash fan.
Are refreshing.
Should you describe me
Thanks,
to an average
Chef
hockey
Spiral.
fan? The gay stuff feels weird, off, creepy. Alternatively, should you describe me to an average slash fan, the fact that I'm focusing my slashing energies on real athletes and not fictional characters also feels weird, off, and creepy. Vist describes Hockey RPF as a space of queer joy, actually, where people who are rejected from traditional hockey culture construct their own world. There is a picture of Stéphane Fournier and Jonathan Drouin kissing, taken in 2013 when they won a playoff game.
Good
and
for
it fills
them.
me with a queer kind of joy. It's queer joy not just because they are two men kissing in a decidedly non-platonic way, but because that joy is tinged with shame and paranoia. When I look at this picture, I really want to be able to say, this is queer, but I also can't for so many reasons, because they made it very clear in the accompanying interview
Doing
that
a
everyone's
sale
straight
on
here.
your subs,
No homo.
wink wink.
This says that they also spent some
I don't know
time
what
in
that
supernatural
means.
fandom, but it stopped being fun when there became too much emphasis on fans trying to prove their interpretation of the canon, reading into every little thing.
I don't know what a sale on my subs
to be
means.
validated by the word of God from above. We know how that turned out with supernatural fandom. However,
We watched that
with
video.
Hockey RPF, the boundaries are clearer. You have no right to insist what is true about these celebrities who you don't know. The real person is one thing, and your fanfiction is another. Vist writes, of course, hockey hurts me too, but I'm no longer invested in proving anything about my feelings, and so I can enjoy RPF in a way that I stopped enjoying Destio. So there you go. In some cases, at least in the case of this particular writer, RPF can sometimes be a healthier attachment than fiction.
Yeah.
So long as that boundary between fiction and reality is very clear. RPF is still
Yeah.
considered an ethical gray area by a lot of fans. And, you know, for good reason, treating real people like fictional characters has
Yeah, I'm not-
led
I'm
to
not-
the crossing of some uncomfortable lines in the past.
Yeah.
You know, Louis Tomlinson has spoken about how shipping made him uncomfortable and affected his friendship with Harry Styles. Dan and Phil had people stalk them and
Yep.
dox their information because they felt entitled to the truth about their relationship. However, I will say what a lot of these fandoms that have been known to go too far have in common is that they're made up of people who are very young, raised on the internet, who maybe
Yeah.
don't fully understand those boundaries yet. And this is
The people you're watching are also human, and they have feelings and like lives as well. They're not toys.
where Hockey RPF is different. These fans are generally older, you know, at least not teens. They're more mature. This isn't their first fandom. They're almost universally united under the banner of please God never let these real men find out what we are writing. More than half of all men's Hockey RPF
I love
on
that.
AO3 is locked, meaning it's only visible to logged in users.
I
so
love
nobody
that.
is gonna be
That's
finding it with an
awesome.
accidental Google
Okay,
search.
that's not
They
that
use
bad.
weird tags like ship names or nicknames for the players rather than just the players' names to make it harder for people outside the community to stumble on their content. The Hockey RPF fandom is very private and guided by a self-awareness that, like Vist explains, by almost all other fans' standards, they are weird. The kiss between Drouin and Fournier, when I look at
That's
it,
fair.
is a moment of queer relational bliss, not between the two young men, but between me and the image. That is the queer affinity that I have in Hockey RPF. I relate to that image.
Mari
and
wants to
images
have a
like
queer
queer,
relationship with
and
a
I'm
gay
filled with a kind
photo.
of bliss when I look at it. When I carry it around with me, I carry hope too. When I feel like Sidney Crosby is gay and or autistic, which is popular fanon, by the way, I am not claiming authority over his body.
Why? The gay part I understand. Why the autistic part?
Of course, I never had any authority over his body, no matter how loudly I shout about my feelings. I will never have authority over his white, male,
Incoming
cis,
ad
wealthy,
break.
hyper-able body. I want Sidney Crosby to be gay, but I don't. It's very clear he would be a poor spokesman for queers. Caring about this media.
I love the idea yelling at Sidney Crosby, hey, can you be gay and autistic for me? Thank you.
In this case, hockey sucks and is painful sometimes if you're a type of person who knows that it will never actually be for you. And yeah, the NHL is aware of how bad that looks these days, and they run a bunch of feel-good ads and donate money. And everybody knows that it's all performative
Yeah.
PR, not reflective of any actual changes to hockey culture.
Yep.
If Canada's game truly was hockey, and not actually men's hockey, women's hockey would not struggle to be profitable, and it would not have to beg mainstream sports networks to...
Shout out. So this is pretty recent. So they're on their second season, but we actually have a professional women's hockey league, the PWHL, and it's on the level. Check them out, support them. Right now, there's only about 12 teams because it's only their second season. Great athletes. Shout out to the Vancouver Golden Eyes and their captain Sarah Nurse.
Its game. You have to learn a new sense of hockey, a new genre of hockey fandom to love women's hockey. Because it is, as far as the feeling of it goes, a different game. The reality is that NHL players accused of violence, sexual assault, etc. are still playing. It's had zero adverse effects on their careers. There are zero out players. They phased out pride-themed jerseys and banned rainbow tape after a few players complained that it was against their beliefs. Literally, the hell is never ending. Okay.
Yep. It always takes two people. It's like, but I'm Catholic. Ew, gay people. It's the same song and dance. You know it.
So the moment that I finished filming this video, Kristen came in and told me she had just seen a video that's been going around of Trump calling the U.S. men's hockey team to congratulate them on winning Olympic gold and invite them to the White House. And he says, well, you know, this means we have to invite the women's team too. And then everyone groans and laughs like,
That's
this
so
is what
gross.
male hockey players are like. And
It's
now a bunch
gross.
of anti-Trump celebrities are taking the opportunity to lavish the women's team with gifts as a statement or whatever. So, like, good for them. But for many, this has been a harrowing reminder of what male hockey players are like. So you're queer or a girl or, you know, something icky like that. How do you heal the contradiction of being drawn to hockey anyway? You find the cracks and the crevices where you can wiggle in. Because when you wiggle...
Wiggle, wiggle,
Sports is a
wiggle.
little gay, isn't it?
Oh, it's very gay. Sports is super gay. It's also very
Same-gender
homophobic.
intimacy, bromance, if you will, is essential to the narrative of hockey. But so is heterosexuality. What does a hockey player's body mean as a text? Athletes are supposed to be aspirational symbols of physical perfection and success.
Ew, Oilers.
Physically powerful, capable of violence, but only using a respectable amount. Cis and heterosexual, obviously.
No homo.
Rich, white. To be this specific type of man within hockey is not just good, it's necessary.
Yeah.
Almost moral. When I read and write stories then about Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin falling in love, having sex, and negotiating a polyamorous relationship with Alexander Ovechkin, I'm not just blurring the lines between reality and fiction by recontextualizing their star images. I am turning literal representatives of their respective
I'd
nations
bite her
into
neck.
symbolic if contested.
Hi, Seven. Also, are you saying that if she looked the way, I'd bite her? Oh, I got you. Nah, she cute. She's cute. I love a good goth baddie.
Representatives of ideal masculine comportment in the NHL into gay sex objects. In Canada, where hockey has always been more than entertainment, the transformation of
thank
Sidney
you,
Crosby
Seven.
from Sid the Kid into Sid the gay
I'm
threesome
blushing.
haver is not some intellectual exercise about the illusory nature of fiction, reality, and fiction.
It feels weird that you called me cute while she talks about gay hockey fan fiction, but I'll take it.
It is a threat to Canadian national identity, which is exactly why I'm kind of delighted and fascinated that we've gotten here. Since this paper was written,
By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, that is our current prime minister.
Since this paper was written, you know, we can debate how much it really means for our prime minister to be cradling Hudson Williams' sexy thighs. But I think it's not nothing.
That hand should be
hockey is
higher.
deeply tied up with Canadian nationalism, but a not insignificant amount of people, including our prime minister, are trying to include heated rivalry in that definition now. We're going to circle back. We'll circle back to that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is hockey culture is fundamentally obsessed with men's bodies.
Yep.
No homo, though. Okay? When we as straight
Little
men
homo.
gaze upon Sidney Crosby's voluptuous back.
Yes, I didn't realize Sidney Crosby has a fucking badunkadunk. That man is caked.
It is out of awe for how strong his glutes are from decades of training so hard. The language that our culture has to talk about butts like his, and while his may be particularly large, it's not just him. Hockey butt is very much a thing, I have learned.
I did not know hockey butt was a thing.
Butts like this is often rooted in the objectification of women. In yet another banger, Vist writes, that Crosby is not a black woman does not mean that she is not affected by the ways we are trained to look at bodies. So is that gay, bro?
That's a fucking sentence.
A tension that arises when you've got a bunch of fit, muscular male bodies with very nice butts getting all sweaty all over each other, but you can't acknowledge potential attraction there, lest you compromise the whole appeal of the sport, which is this weird cult of traditional masculinity. I admittedly went into this not understanding why the type of person who likes Tumblr fandom would like sports, but if there is a Venn diagram of media that is so homophobic, hates femininity so much that it flips into getting a little gay.
Look, it's not a stretch. You look at the Republican Party, and you'll see a lot of people doing very gay things, but also hating gay people. In Western culture,
nice to meet you.
Especially in the idea of bro culture, is very gay.
Hockey and Supernatural have more in common than you might think. When Heated Rivalry blew up, I heard a lot of people bemoaning the lack of appreciation for women's sports. You know, why do we need to jump through hoops to make fictional gay male hockey players forget the men's sports? That's just what actual women's hockey is like. It's like the L word on ice. Why does everybody care about Heated Rivalry? I am all for more appreciation of the lesbians. I myself have been known to appreciate lesbians. They've said this about me. But I also think that comment kind of misses the point of Heated Rivalry a little bit, and of Hockey RPF. I read one Tumblr post that articulated it really well, and I can't track down that specific Tumblr post. It was something like, everyone saying that we need a Heated Rivalry for women kind of misses the point if they think that that story is going to take place in hockey. Because Heated Rivalry is interesting because it contradicts all of the hypermasculine homophobic tendencies of hockey culture. The equivalent Heated Rivalry for women would need to take place in an equally feminine sport. It would take place in like ballet or something.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. The reason why it's not equal is because hockey is a very aggressive, in-your-face sport. So, to be lesbian is kind of makes sense. Because a lot of lesbians are seen as butch or masculine and stuff like that. It's obviously not true, but it makes more sense. It's again like male ballet dancers. Most of them are seen as just, oh, so you're gay. Some are, not everyone.
Black Swan. I think it's Black Swan. Anyway.
Yeah, the Natalie Portman, Mila Kunis, yeah.
All is an emblem of my own ambivalence.
I know what she's talking about.
Hockey.
No
he's
spoiler.
He's a symbol of all that hockey is supposed to be, but he's also weird. He's a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, a gold medal champion twice over, a gold medal goal scorer, an NHL MVP, and the face of men's hockey, among many other accolades. He also wears yellow Crocs. He has a ridiculous honking laugh. He keeps his hands in his pockets when taking pictures with fans in a way that makes him look endearingly awkward. And he's got strange rituals
he might be
that dominate
autistic.
Game days. But what I love most about Sidney Crosby is his butt. I suppose it's sexy. Butts are supposed to be sexy after all. But I love his butt because it makes him seem more bow-legged. It makes his clothes fit oddly. I love Sidney Crosby's butt because it makes him strange.
The sentence, I love Sidney Crosby's butt because it makes him strange. That's a sentence.
That strangeness, that recognition of queerness within hockey that Vist describes, that's why Hockey RPF I also read another paper called What a Bust, Character Selection and the Possibilities of Failure in Hockey RPF. It examines RPF fandom's interest in a player named Nolan Patrick. He's
No,
not
don't
an
know him.
important player within the NHL.
Nope.
His significance in RPF is totally disproportionate to his significance in hockey. Why? What makes him so interesting
Blank
specifically
slate?
to fanfiction writers? Probably the fact that he's had multiple injuries and struggles with chronic migraines. The paper argues that Nolan Patrick is a compelling character to this community because of his failures to be an ideal hockey player. He's interesting because he illuminates that crack, I shouldn't say crack, that wiggle room
crack
between ideal and reality, that space where writers
Wiggling
can worm
butt
in
crack.
and try to answer the questions, but what can you do when you don't live up to these ideals? What can your body mean if not the ultimate form of masculine dominance? However, while Hockey RPF
Dominant, wiggling,
is,
crack
I'm
butt.
sure you deeply committed to putting things in Sidney Crosby's pillowy and feminine
Hey,
the
yo.
place where even
Hey,
fan
yo.
fiction fails
Hey,
to challenge the norms of the
yo.
NHL is with race. Now, the NHL is
Very
overwhelmingly white. In
white.
2023, NHL players were 94% white.
Yeah,
But
it's
not 100%.
very
You know,
white.
If RPF fans can lift up an average player as a chronic illness icon, then why not one of the non-white players?
But how separate our reality and fiction?
At this point, you're probably thinking, okay, fine. I get it. RPF writers, they take little tidbits from real life to essentially construct a new fictional character that is totally separate from the real person, and everybody knows that, and it's fine. Well, how separate are RPF characters and their real-life counterparts? There's a fascinating case study from the Hockey RPF fandom, which really digs into this in interesting ways, and it is the rape allegations against Patrick Kane that came out in 2015.
I did not know
The cherry
that.
on top of a long history of violence and bad behavior in his personal life. He was a super popular RPF character at that time. You know, his frat boy tendencies were often addressed in fanfiction. Many plots focused on why he acted out and how his inner turmoil was eventually calmed by his more mellow love interest. Writers wanted to see him redeemed, make him sympathetic, and we see this all the time with the way that fans treat characters who are kind of problematic in canon. That mass murderer did nothing wrong. He's my baby girl. But when these real life allegations...
Yeah. It's not just fan fiction. There's not just women, but it is a lot of women romanticize serial killers. It's, yeah.
Came out, people suddenly drew a line. Fans had to ask themselves if they could go on being fans of someone like that. Many could not. People deleted their work. People left the fandom. It was cataclysmic. You can write all
Understandable.
the sexy Severus Snape fanfiction you want and never worry about waking up to Severus Snape assault allegations on the news. You always have the assurance that everything that you're reading and writing is in the realm of imagination. Whereas with RPF,
They're real people.
in that the R in the RPF can intrude dramatically on the fictional, despite the fact that fanon characterizations of these players often don't resemble them at all. Beyond names and a few biographical details, they aren't separate. The actions of the real Patrick Kane do very much impact Patrick Kane, the RPF character. One fan who gave up writing about him wrote, "I need to own that as an RPF writer, I have two very different Patrick Kanes in my mind. One, the character that I see when I read and write, who is a flawed but lovable idea that we have cooperatively created. The other is a real human being for who all the media attention he received is unknowable and deeply problematic. In fiction, we can create scenarios that suggest favorable interpretations and allow for character development, but those scenarios are clearly fiction. Where life seemed to be imitating art and Patrick Kane seemed to be improving himself as a human being, I was selfishly pleased because it allowed me to enjoy my fiction all the more. But the recent accusations of
That's
sexual assault
cringy, man.
changes things.
That's very
Meanwhile,
cringy.
Another fan wrote, "Huge part, the overwhelming portion actually, of my delight with hockey is rooted in the fantastic irony of a bunch of intelligent, sassy, powerful women taking a hegemonic male structure and turning it on its head, refashioning this world and these people to our purposes.
What?
It is a subversive act. This fan comes to the
I think she just likes to be a dom.
opposite conclusion. Sure, the real Patrick Kane, and in fact, many NHL players may be violent, misogynistic, homophobic, etc. But there is
Yeah,
value
there's a lot.
and joy in creating an alternate version of that reality where he's in gay love and therapy. Is rewriting him this way not a radical act of optimism? Man, I don't know. That's a question. That's a
Kai, to sum it up, real people got in the way of female fan fiction writers' fantasies of who these people are.
Question. Is the RPF image of him shattered by his real-life actions, or is it made powerful by the discrepancy there? At the heart of both sides of the argument is the intertextual nature of fanfiction, and how it interacts with the originary work. No matter how it is we feel about him, we cannot separate the real and fictional Patrick Kanes. In fact, that's the whole point. Their meaning comes from the tension between them. It's kind of a great microcosm for this whole thing, you know? The tension between the real NHL, in which Kane's career didn't suffer one bit from these allegations because...
Of course. So, Kane allegedly raped a person. And yeah, I'm not surprised the NHL didn't do anything. The NHL is... it has issues. Very, very big issues.
Violence and bigotry are normalized every day, and the NHL of hockey RPF and of heated rivalry. Does the fact that the leader of our nation is tantalizingly close to those rotund glutes, does the mainstream success of heated rivalry have the ability to make people reconsider what hockey culture is? Even a little bit? Maybe. Only time will tell. As we have discussed, hockey RPF has been responsible for getting a lot of people who were into fan fiction first into hockey, and now heated rivalry might similarly be leading a lot of fandom girlies from there into actual sports fandom. In December, Out.com published an article entitled 10 Most Popular AO3 Fanfic Ships About Real-Life Hockey Players.
Why
the gays are so into hockey right now. If you're a fan of heated rivalry, consider reading these
Why is that an article?
Based on real-life NHL players.
I hate that.
Wow, okay, the title was quickly changed.
Yeah.
To heated rivalry, sexy hockey players fans should be following. But wow, they really went there for a minute. Another article.
That's gross. That's just so gross. Not because gay, because of it is manipulative.
From this month compares an argument between players during the Olympics to the show. The existence of heated rivalry fandom and people pandering to it are kind of raising this question again. Where is the line between fictional gay hockey players kissing and real ones who aren't kissing, except when they are, but it's not gay? It is just a doozy, my friends.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Why I think it's kind of worth looking at hockey RPF fans and how they have thus far negotiated their complex relationship with reality. I think any heated rivalry fans who are considering getting into actual sports fandom are going to have a lot to learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the conclusion of this video. That's where I'm at. And my cat's automatic feeder went off, so there's about to be very loud cat munching in the background.
Nom 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 nom.
That actually worked out.
Cat
really
munchies.
Perfect. Thank you so much for watching this
munchies.
video, my friends. I now have me wearing this immortalized on the internet forever, which is horrible. Don't share this video. Don't tell anyone about this video. Pretend you never saw this.
Too late. Too late, strange Aeons. The internet has seen you.
This video. Yeah, that's it. Okay, thanks for watching. See you later. Kiss, kiss. Bye-bye.
I don't know if I've learned more, but I got questions. I got a lot of questions about people. Oh boy. Okay. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Check me out. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. Check me out on Twitch, SilverDFanng, 2 N's in Fang. Check me out on Twitter and Blue Sky under the same name. Also TikTok. Have a great night.